When first thought, submit spirit to form matter. Our celestial humanity arrives, awakening from the dream, an inception of our reality. So we live, we love, and then there is music. So we dance, we sing, we pray, we reflect. In the infinite in between, the now that was, faces dance in our dreams. Some familiar, some singular, cosmic composition. In the irrelevance of this time, we realize the passion of the random action, learning the lesson that the brotherhood of man is far more important than the ego of any individual. Imagination becomes the sound of thought, traveling at the speed of art. So we paint on the canvas of our ephemeral encounters with nothing. A masterpiece of memory that lives in the eternity of a child's soul. So I wasn't gonna do this at first, but I guess I just wanted to leave this in case anything ever happened, or after I'm gone, and somebody wondered what was going on. I'll tell a little bit about my life story. I grew up a pretty good kid, you know. Got molested when I was about, I don't know if I was 4 or 6, I was young though, by a man named Wally, who was boarding with us. My parents were in the ministry, the Christian ministry, as missionaries with a mission on the Detroit's North End. And they used to let people come and board with them. And this guy, he was a white man, he molested me. I wasn't penetrating anything, but he fondled me and did stuff. And so that tainted my perspective of what life was supposed to be, or what it could have been at the time, you know. And soon after that, that had never happened. But nevertheless, I pressed on. At the age of 6, my mother asked me if I wanted Jesus in my heart. Would I like to accept Jesus in my heart? And when she said Jesus, I didn't know who it was then, but I saw a picture of a man with a fez on his head with, the picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is what I found out who it was. And I said yes. I found out later who that picture was. And so I grew up with that in my head all the time, and I thought it was significant because I think my pops knew it, because a lot of pictures and stuff that I was in, I wasn't with the regular family, with the rest of the family. I was always set off separate, like, that's not my child. And I understand that, because I respect my pops and I see him in the divine scheme of things as far as who he was as a scientist. And so some things happened in my childhood. I won't get into that because that's the past as far as that. That was, jacked up. Prayed about that as a child. That stopped. Then grew up. The first impression thing, major impression was I was watching Walter Cronkite sometime, I can't remember, in the 70s or early 80s, I can't remember, I think it was the 70s, late 70s. And there was a reporter that got killed overseas. And they played the execution on television. And I saw that. And so my mind sparked a thought, like, why are these people hating us over here? I'm thinking us, like we all together. And back then, I thought everybody was cool like my parents, I went to a private school, Southfield Christian, with white folks. I saw both worlds. I lived on the north end. I went to Southfield Christian back in the time when it was mostly just Jews out in Southfield. And it wasn't too many black folks out there. It was just Jews and white folks and other ethnicities and whatnot. And so we were like some of the ones that paved the way to opening up Southfield as far as, I guess you could say, integration. My brother was one of the first graduates from Southfield Christian, black graduates. And after, I experienced different things in high school. I won't say, I think there wasn't racism, but there was, they were, when it came to me, they were adjusting, I don't know what their parents had taught them or whatever, but it was like I got treated with a special kind of treatment. And whenever something went awry, my pops got in their behind, and they treated me a certain way that would have been considered racist. I didn't know about it at the time. I just thought, well, why they didn't just treat me different, and didn't realize a lot of stuff. My classmates, they was cool, We went on trips and stuff. We went on a missionary trip to Costa Rica in 1985, and that was cool. I've always felt alone, though, not alone like lonely, but alone like I'm standing in the crowd and be somewhere and everybody's having a good time or doing something, but I always was off somewhere by myself, thinking, pondering, contemplating the universe. And when I was out in nature, I felt so natural, like connected to the trees and the birds and the animals and all this kind of stuff. You know, I felt, but when I was around people or in buildings and stuff like that, unless it had some kind of natural vibe to it, I always felt disconnected, you know. But anyway, fast forward, elementary, junior high, high school, Southfield Christian, Farmington Hills, and I went to Bright Meyer Elementary in Detroit, which no longer exists, for about kindergarten to first grade. Then I went to Farmington Hills Christian. It was a experimental school, PACE. I forget what that stands for, but it was a PACE school in Farmington. I went to that school and only went there for the second grade. Then it was the last 4 of 11 of us went to Southfield Christian. And then so after, you know, I wonder why the people was hating us in the world. And so, you know, after high school, I was going to be a police officer. I went past the exam and everything, was getting ready to go in the academy. And then the sergeant or whoever it was that was going to put me in the academy and whatever, he was like, yeah, we probably put you in youth crime division. You know, because I looked real young when I was back then. I looked like I was 12 when I was 19. And I was like, hell no. I know too many people out in the streets. I can't be no cop, because either I'm going to be a bad one or everybody going to hate me for being a cop. You know, so I was like, nah, I couldn't do that. So my brother was in the Navy. You know, I had a couple of brothers in the Navy, plus my pops was a veteran, World War II veteran, Navy. And so I was like, I called my brother, yo, man, I thought about it, and I was like, I want to see the world, see what's going on, what's really going on around the world, you know, for myself. So I talked to my brother. He was like, yeah, man, get it. If you're going to go to the recruiter, let me know. I want to talk to him. So I went to the recruiter over there on Grand River. And so we talked to him. I had him talk to my brother. My brother told him, look, man, basically in so many words, you know, if you give my brother a bad deal, I'm going to jack you up, you know. So I went in as a gunner's mate and got a special school training, extra school, and a bonus for going in and doing an extra year. And so the Navy was a tripped out experience. I had a brother named GMG-1 Shelvin, and a brother from Louisiana, BTCS King. They was my company commanders, Company 143. And them cats was a trip, man. I had a good time in there. You know, they used to call me Casper. He'd be like, Casper, you know, your mama know where you at, boy? I knew what he was talking about, but looking back at it now, I was laughing my butt off about that stuff, because I was in the days back then. And I was just sitting around, like, listening. But he was cool, you know. I got out of boot camp. He took me over to his house and let me meet his wife and family. And, you know, and that's the kind of experiences I always had. I was always going to people's families. They made me a member of their family. You know, I was like, wow, I got family everywhere, you know. And that's how I was, because I was just real cool, you know. And made friends real easy all through growing up. You know, when I was in Texas with my brother as a cop down there, you know, I made some friends with some Mexicans, Richard and Raymond and Ramona. Richard Raymond and Rosa Richard Raymond and Ramona, I think it was, De La Rosa. I made friends with them, some Mexicans down in Houston. I wonder how they doing. But I was just thinking about all this stuff, and I said, okay, so fast forward, I get out the Navy, went to a lot of countries in France, Spain. I loved Rota. Then there was an island off the coast of Spain called Palma de Mallorca. I loved that place. It was beautiful. I enjoyed that. Saw the Rock of Gibraltar. Didn't go there, had a chance to, but I didn't. If I had known all the stuff that I know now, I would have went to every place I could have to experience it. But I didn't, because I was on the ship and I was like, well, I ain't got no money to go this, and I should have just went just to see it and experience. But I didn't go to the Rock of Gibraltar. But went to Rota, Spain. Loved Rota, Spain. One of my first lovers there, Mina. She was beautiful. It was a funny story about that, It was real crazy. I was wild back then, I was all muscular and beefed out, back then when I was in the military. And I used to do some crazy stuff, if you was in the Navy, you know what I'm talking about. But Rota was cool. Met a couple honeys over there. Hung out with a couple shipmates. Ran around up and down Rota, Spain. Then went to Toulon, Marseille, France, Morocco, Haifa, Israel, Tel Aviv, Israel. Went way over there, and a guy came up to me and was like, tell your pops I said hi. So, my pops. He was like, yeah, and he said my pops' name. I was like, wow. I'm all the way across the world and somebody know my daddy's name that I ain't never met before. It blew my mind, And so I called Pops and told him. He was like, yeah, he look like you sitting on top of the world. And our Pops always used to say stuff to just put me in the mind frame, like, well, you know who he was, how I thought anyway. I always thought really highly of my Pops, like he was top, like he was God, That's how I always thought, because he was always knew everything. And I think that's how you got to be with your children, to make them always think there's something else that they don't know that you know. Just keep ahead of the game. Don't tell them everything, but always tell them something they don't know, and keep them growing and learning, and feed them with inspiration. Don't just take them to lessons or piano lessons. Just go buy a keyboard, stick it in the house. See what they do, or whatever, what have you want them. Kind of steer them in a direction, or give them choices of what's out there so they can know and discover for themselves. That's what my moms and pops did for us, One thing they taught us is the art of being alone, Told us that we couldn't, on Sundays, we couldn't talk to our siblings, and there was 11 of us. We couldn't talk to our siblings. We couldn't watch TV or the radio, but we had to do something quiet by ourselves. Read a book, go to sleep, whatever. And so with this pandemic and everything happening, I was like, oh man, y'all don't know how to deal with this. Everybody was freaking out at first and everything. And I was like, man, y'all welcome to my world, But there's a downside to, some stuff that happened in the military. I don't even really know a lot of stuff that happened because my mind was wiped. I don't know how it was white, but I always had these memories, patches of memories and stuff that come up in my head. And the skill set that comes up that I have no idea where it came from, but it's like, well, I do when I have these memories, But anyway, I was in Desert Storm. That was an experience. Met a lot of brothers in there that we connected with to a consciousness state of mind, I did poetry. Started out a lot of my poetry writing in Southfield Christian when I looked up Langston Hughes, and surprisingly enough, they had it in the Southfield Christian Library, and I did appreciate the stuff that I did find in there, that was Black history, because my parents and my sister and brothers steered me towards my own culture, even though I was experiencing white people. I used to go over their houses and stuff. They used to be cussing their parents out, so I'd be like, hell no. My mama be knock the hell out of me. Be calling their mama bees and stuff and going off and crazy. You done seen some badass little white kids before. Do stuff that damn well ain't no black kid gonna get away with none of that crap. But anyway, they wouldn't do it now, and they think bad about it now, those that did it, but that was how they grew up. But got out of Desert Storm, embraced the NOI back then. When I was in Norfolk, I came across some brothers and sold me a final call, and I had another flashback memory. One day when me and my mother was going somewhere, it was back in Detroit, a brother tried to sell mama Muhammad Speaks, and he had the paper turned over, and I remember seeing the picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but and I was like, that's the man I seen in my head, but it never connected again until I met this brother in Norfolk, and he invited me over to the mosque and whatnot. I went over there, and I was going through some stuff in the Navy at the time, officer, and they was it was military burying or what they was contesting, but I was like, damn well you ain't give a damn about no military burying. You just didn't want to see me being free when I was on liberty. That's what liberty mean. Liberty mean leave me the fuck alone. Let me do what I'm gonna do. When I get back in there, I'll be in uniform and follow them damn orders. But right now, I'm on liberty. That's what it mean. Liberty, dumbass. That's what y'all don't understand. Liberty means liberty. It don't mean you under a bunch of rules and whatever. It means the rules are suspended until you go back to duty, long as you don't break none out there that's detrimental to the reputation of the military. We was in the game, man. Y'all was some lames that did all that. Oh, take that out of your ears. Y'all was some lames. We was running the game, man. And y'all was some lames sitting up barking orders and setting up for wars. Now that y'all regret all that stupid stuff y'all did, but who am I to tell you? You know everything. That's why the world's so jacked up now, because of y'all mugs. But anyway, I digress. stuff they put in my head and did to me, who knows what. All I remember is I went to sick call one day, and they dragged me up there off Liberty. Something happened. Somebody did something to me out on Liberty, and they brought me back. And I remember being halfway conscious, and I'm like, what the hell is happening to me? And so I go to sick call, and I wake up. I don't know how many days or hours it was later, whatever. But the nurse told me, hey man, they just had you under surgery. I was like, sir? He was like, yeah, they gave you Demerol. I was like, no, first that's what he said. He said they gave you Demerol. I was like, what's Demerol? He was like, that's when they're doing surgery. They give you that. I was like, what they do surgery on? He was about to tell me something, but then they came in the room, and somebody said something, and I blacked out. And then I woke up again, and he said, start asking me the names of all the presidents. I ain't never knew all the damn presidents, but I was naming them off like it wasn't nothing. Then he asked me, what year is it? These were coherency questions, but these were some off the wall coherency questions. And there was a bunch of officers and chiefs and stuff in there. And brass. And so, it wasn't going nowhere. I would have stayed in for 20, but it wasn't going nowhere. And there was a lot of racist shit going down in there. We used to have race fights. Even when the war was going on, there was some stuff that went down on the USS Saipan, and we used to whoop them white boys' ass all the time. They got out of line trying to do that racist shit. We used to whoop their ass. But shit used to go down all the time. But I got out the Navy. I can't remember if I stayed in Norfolk right away or a little while. I think I came home, and I had went to a Savior's Day down there in Norfolk, and it blew my mind seeing all them black people together. And there wasn't no concert, it wasn't nothing like that, and they were just listening to this man talk. And I was like, this. Then I seen the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's picture. I was like, oh, okay. I remember this from my childhood. And I was like, then when I listened to it, I'm like, okay, he talking conscience, this and that and other. I was listening to the story and everything. And he said he came to Detroit. I was like, he came to Detroit? I was like, wait a minute, I'm from Detroit. I ain't never heard of this, so I was like, now I gotta get out of here and get back to Detroit, find out what the hell's going on. How come I ain't know nothing about this? So I came back here and went to Mosque number 1, and it was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff just started going down, Soldiers at the mosque for about 10 years, selling papers. I couldn't understand why more black people wouldn't get with it, from what I said. And everybody had their own issues, whether it was Malcolm X or they thought it was a cult or whatever, what have you. I always thought that if everybody black person did at least 2 years in the nation, they would have a better understanding of what we need to do as a people. Even if they didn't join, they have a better understanding, and they'll be able to come out here and live better lives with better focus, That's what I always thought. So that's where I get to this. A lot of stuff in my head from the military or whatever. I came down with I don't like to call it illness because it's just a challenge. It's illness though, because it's not, I know it's illness, but it's a compounded illness. It's both the illness of, they told me schizophrenia, but I also know I suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome, which is a generational diagnosis that goes down for hundreds of generations removed from slavery. Yeah. Post-traumatic slave syndrome has to deal with hundreds of generations. It's the effects of being in a psychological stupor, not knowing or having any knowledge of self, and that being erased from your memory about who you were, your origins, and all that stuff, and then being introduced with an indoctrination into a realm in a world that's unfamiliar to you, but has familiar things in it, because what was taken was changed around and made familiar to you again with a different context other than its origin. So that's what we all suffer from, and that's why when we get introduced to the origin of everything, we reject it because we see how miserable we are now, and we be like, that can't be where we came from, because look where we at now. It's like, nah, it was removed, But anyway, I had another episode the other day, and I also suspect that I suffer from MS, because every one of the symptoms that they talk about I've had and dealt with, my afflictions, afflictions of humanity is basically, compounded because it's a battle that goes on in my head. It's a war between forces. I think everybody goes through it, but mine is more on the surface of my everyday reality. Not so much as some people, because some people have the darkness and the evil and stuff really attacking them right outside their door. Mine is more internally and psychological and spiritual, and so I had to deal with things a different way. And it's messed up so many of my relationships that I battle with self-destruction a lot of times. That's why I got rid of all my weapons, that I could do quick harm to myself, because it's not that I would do it, but what I grown to know is that if you have something like that around, when the enemy try to break in your house, and while you battling that, he or she may get the best of you and take you out before you come back to yourself. So That's one thing, warring not against flesh and blood, as I'm sitting here listening to hearing voices arguing with me now, trying to say they saying, man, we're gonna eventually get you. And I'm like, okay. That's up to the Creator. Cause I don't know of any creator that wants to destroy his creation. That's just a story that's just been told, Because if you become something that you wasn't created by him, that's not to say that's who you are. That's just something that's infiltrated who you are. You have to fight and return to yourself. So that's why I've been in my own head lately, trying to cope. The other day, I hadn't been out in a long while, and I had supposed to do a gig for this brother. I had everything set, went out and bought an outfit, $200, had my system and everything. In the car and was ready to go. Made it out there to his street. And there was just some strange occurrences happening. I made it to his street first. When he gave me the address, the phone locked up, and then it started saying it was going to take 6 or 7 hours to get there. 5 to 6 hours to get there. Something like that. But it was mapped it out, and it said a long time. I was like, he only lived right there. So why is that's not that far? So I called him, got the address, and then so I said, well, I'm gonna remember from my North Instincts, where he was, because I've been over there before and I made it okay. Well, he actually met me at the gas station and came and got me, and showed me where it was, so I kind of remember from there, So I told him, like, yeah, I'm on such and such street. He's like, yeah. He's like, that's where it says, it's right off of there. So I got on the street, and I seen these white girls outside. They was all walking around. One of them had on hot pants. The other one had on a skirt. Just dressed casual. Normal stuff. And I didn't think nothing of it. I had on my white, and he said it was an all white party he was giving. So I was going to do the music. And so I drive up one way. I thought I missed the address, because the number started changing. I thought this was just normal. Turn around, the number started changing again, but they was changing, like they would go up one way. Then I thought, okay, I must have passed, so I go back. They start going up the other way. So there's all kinds of stuff was going on, and these girls was doing like this over the top of their heads, like this, something like this, And I was like, man, what is these, some witches or something? What the hell going on? And so I was like, somebody or something, a force or whatever, don't want me over here. I was like, I better get out of here before I lose touch of my own reality, because I started getting disoriented. I was like, man, there's some powerful stuff going on. So I said, let me get out of here. I said, because then before I did that, the voices were saying, yeah, get out and just start stabbing them bitches. And I was like, man, hell no, let me get out of here. I was like, the last time crazy stuff, voices like that came in my head, I blacked out and ended up in jail. So I was like, no, I ain't blacking out this time. I'm getting out of here. So I got out of there, and I thought I wasn't going to black out, but I got on the freeway, and all I remember waking up 4 hours later, I was in my room right in here, all my clothes off, and my clothes, the white clothes I had on all neatly on this little rack like it is, in here, and all my things out of my pockets all neatly on the table. I didn't know what happened. I looked at my camera and showed me coming back. I don't remember it. And all I can remember was this movie called The Adjustment Bureau. Different stuff that happened, and I have pockets of memory lapses about things that happened. And that's what I always thought about. Like some of them going is in effect, whether that was a real movie or something that actually happens in real life. I don't know. Because movies, art imitates life. Some of the obscure stuff that people, didn't watch or whatever ends up being some type of reality. So I know he was pissed, that I didn't come. And then here it is, I'm doing damage control. I'm like, man. I text him, I'm like, look, man, I had a psychotic episode. Know you pissed, whatever, what have you. Family was, probably expecting me to be there. But it was either do that, what I did, or end up in jail or worse. So, it seemed like every time I went to the suburbs now, I end up in some kind of episode in my mind. And so I'm like, okay, sometimes I go to certain places that are familiar and nothing happens. I'm cool. But I wasn't familiar with that area and I didn't know anybody out there. And so I don't know if they thought I was a hostile or whatever, or what was that in effect that was happening out there. All I knew is I was trying to find this house. Wasn't nobody out there, and the numbers started scrambling up and I started getting confused, And then when I got home, after I woke up, I started thinking about other stuff I was going through, years ago when I first was dealing with a lot of stuff. I had a voice tell me, turn on Montel Jordan. So he turned them on, I turned them on, and he was talking about MS. He didn't mention much about what it was. They just said the name and told you it was immune system. Fast forward, I finally look at the symptoms, and I'm dealing with all that now. Pins and needles, urination, sexual dysfunction, all kind of stuff, muscle, locking up cramps, hand cramps, feet cramps, strange neck and arm pulses and stuff, and all kind of crazy stuff going on when I move my neck like this, sharp, start locking up, all kind of stuff, so I started using CBD oil and other stuff, to deal with it, turmeric, ginger, a lot of stuff that is anti-inflammatory. Started doing a lot of teas and herbal teas and stuff. Even dealt with a little bit of mushrooms and stuff as far as Ganoderma and reishi, and other ones and stuff. Teas and stuff to deal with it. And I was just listening to the ancestors tell me what to put together and what not, because there was nobody here but myself. I was just listening. If it was something crazy, if it didn't sound right and it made me doubt, I wouldn't do it because I knew it wasn't from them, And I did stuff from, listening to the ancestors, and God, same thing to me, Because the ancestors come from God. We all come from God, So, then I told my brother about it. In a situation with my house, and I thought I was going to lose out on that, but the brother came through, told me no, he wasn't telling me I had to leave or nothing like that. He said as long as he owned his property, I got a place to stay. It's one veteran looking out for another. So, I was getting annoyed at thinking the situation he had was that he wanted me out. But that wasn't the case. And so that part was a metaphor, And it explains a lot, as far as, study every alphabet. The big field is vast, so study every alphabet, So that's basically telling you to read into the story about where it ended up, not where it was headed, But, so, also another crazy story, I thought that was a setup with old girl, I got confused about where she was. I thought she just wanted to go out and go for a ride. I didn't know what she wanted. Maybe I was naive and she wanted something more. But I got annoyed about that. My north instincts kicked in. And then I was like, nah, let me get the hell out of there. So I left there. She was blowing my phone up. I didn't answer because I heard somebody in the background when she asked me, was I out there? Somebody asked him, was he here? Is he here? Is he here? Sounded like a man's voice. So I was like, no, I ain't about to get set up. And I think that's what I was annoyed about a lot of times, being set up, because I got robbed one time when I first I was homeless for about 30 days. And that was by choice. I came back home. Me and my pops had fell out. And right before I went to Stone Mountain, moved down there for a minute. I came up here, and we fell out, and I was out in the streets for about 30 days. I was real naive. I had about $1,000 worth of suits, and had them in a garment bag. Brothers that gave me some of them. I bought some of them. Had shoes and everything, and I was going through psychosis at the time. And I told this brother, he was at a theater downtown. He's changed it up now. It's kind of next to, I think it's next to the Great Lakes Park. He used to be there. And the Top Cat or something anyway. And the guy told me, he said, yeah, just leave your stuff here. You come back, and I have them for you. I went back and the place was closed down. I ain't get nothing. So I basically got robbed. That was the okie doke. So that was the first time, because the streets and everything was switching up on me. And the city buildings was changing and moving. And so that was the first time I really experienced that here in the city. Then the history, my brother took me to the hospital, and that's where everything started there. Anyway, fast forward back to this incident that happened the other day. Talked to a spiritual brother. He was like, maybe God was telling you don't need to go over there, because I was like, the music I had chose, maybe it wouldn't have been appropriate that I was going to play, because that's the kind of music they listen to. But maybe I was wrong in thinking what they listen to. I don't know. All I know is I ended up back here at the house, after a psychotic episode that interfered with my decision to do what I wanted to do at the time. So I don't know if that was outside force or an internal force or an external higher force. I believe it was external higher force, because I'm okay. It's just people gonna be pissed at me, and I told them I'm not doing no outside events or nothing like that, trying to be no DJ or none of that. I might put up some stuff for family somewhere, if I get a chance to do it, in the future here. Y'all will know if I did or not. If I don't make it, you can look at this and say, yeah, he used to do that, and no, he didn't, But I'm just wondering, am I ever gonna be able to function normally outside of the VA? Because in the VA is like a refuge. And it was, if y'all seen this and I'm gone, it was for me because it's the only place I can halfway think normal without having the interference of voices and stuff in my head telling me to do crazy stuff. That's why I stayed home most of the time. I had some beautiful, fantastic, amazing thoughts. And then there was a lot of other thoughts that was just like, wow. Where's that coming from? In the state of emergency, yeah. I know I kill a brick. Immediate threat. But at the same time, even with that, I'm like, man, is this stuff something weakening me? I couldn't tell you. Y'all only know by seeing this at the end. My destiny. If y'all made it, if y'all made it longer than me, I don't know. I got a sense that I'll be here for thousands of years. Whether that'll be in this form or millions of trillions of years, in this form or another, I know I'll be here in some form or another. And all around, everywhere. At the same time. I just, at some point, I'm going to be aware of all of myself at the same time without being going through a state of psychosis. But I don't think, one thing about it is the human body has to be glorified for that to happen. And I only know one man who did that. Maybe it's a bunch of them that did it. And that's why they keep us ignorant, because they want us to think only one person did it. And there's probably many people that did it, and we all can do it. They don't want us free like that. We can walk between worlds, and between dimensions, and between time, throughout time. Because if you forget who you are, you might miss a point in time where you existed until you remember it again. I wrote all these books. Poetry and whatnot. Thoughts and whatnot. This is the is that was is that is. That's that one. It's the Detroit Blues. That was that Mahogany Dreams play. And that was the second one, not the first one. With Ben Jones. That was the second one with Sean Moore-Bay. This is another one called Roots. I don't claim to be the writer because all I really did was transcribe the conversation down that I heard and the vision that I had. It's called Roots. And it was a conversation that Some of it I was asking to be, and I don't know who it was per se, because I couldn't see their face. I just saw their form, and their form kept changing. And some question I asked, some questions I answered, and some question they asked, and some questions they answered. You know, so that's that. That's that one. This is the philosophy book. The cover of it is called Creator Code Keys. And I gave this, I sold this artwork to Dr. Brown, Dr. James Brown, Ezekiel, Dr. Jimbe. And this book has that painting, Creator Code Keys, one of a 3-part set painting, and it's called The Irrelevance of Time: Concepts, Philosophy, Perception, Ideology, and Thought Consciousness. And basically, I move these spheres around in the ether like a heads-up display, and move them around to create different things in my home world. So that was an example of what that was from the home world, and they were shapes like that floated and suspended animation that I could move around to create things. That was like my that's like my high-tech internet and computer digital synchronization matrix. This next one is a collection of poetry and books that I wrote, of poetry and just thoughts and whatnot when I was with Tanisha C. Blackman, Butter Soulfly, the only woman that I, in this realm anyway, that I asked for engagement to be married. Other ones I was married by copulation, you know. They were my wives, you know. But this one was the one that I offered a ring to, and I gave her my halo. And this book is called, this collection is called The Scroll of the Infinite Intimate Supreme by Amaya Ankaru Amin. This is by a brother, I forgot his name, Rashid, I forget his name, Rashid. He did this. That's no Shango. I mean, Amaya Ankaru Amin, no Shango, same thing. That's my logo, wherever you see that. That's my logo. This is one of the second books. This is the first book of that series. Of this series, Balancing the Ego at the Fulcrum of Psychosis. Kind of deals with my issues in a vague sense, a general sense that was summarized by these few poems. I'll read this one. It was kind of my way of dealing with my psychosis, referencing an extreme that I never did or would never let myself get to, but I referenced it in a way from a child's perspective of the only thing a person should kill, and that's some cereal in the morning, because I love me some cereal. So that's what the reference is. I gave it away, and it goes like this. Morning confession. I am a serial killer. The leprechaun, the tiger, and the captain are next on the list. Got milk? I was talking about my favorite cereals, which was Lucky Charms, Frosted Flakes, and Captain Crunch. There's some other ones in there too that I like, but those are the ones that I like the most. There's a lot of other poems. Poem about my father. Different stuff about Tanisha and other people. My thoughts about different subjects, abstract and whatnot. And so even I got unfortunately I added it, but I had made a reference to 45 in there, and I said his name, and I shouldn't have, but it was appropriate for what I was doing, you know. And I'll let you just discover that for yourself, what else is in this collection, because I ain't gonna sit here and bore nobody with going over every single book, you know. Each one is in here. I should just reference them just so you know what's in here. And contemplating the clutter of the cosmos. That's the second part. Some more poems and collections of thoughts. And I'll read something from that one. My Heart Suture. As the playlist plays, each song is a different poem. Some are sad and lonely, others vibe in the frequency. And you are here on my mind and my heart. Spirit dancing, soul talking, helping me to breathe a new breath of life into destiny. I walk on a new path in my history. As I break free from the infamy, you chose me and I chose you. I choose you. A love like improvisation, fusion, and random abstracts. Some notes I have never heard, played in keys that unlock the door to infinity. Others seem so familiar to me, like the ones where we both are smiling endlessly. Matters of the heart are delicate, intimate, like earth and sky. So we whispered gratitude to the ancestors. When we embarked on this journey, a road less traveled, not soon forgotten, by the creed of stars or the edicts of sun, to birth new heavens and earths, and to the intelligence of dimension, heralding a host of higher reason, deeper logic, life, and love, infinite. Our love is a strong song, reverberated in the echo of you as my muse. It is what it is what it was, soon to be the greatest. Time cannot measure the pleasure of our minds intertwined, girl. We could rule the world, shifted and sifted beyond the world's drama. We got the director's cut like Michelle and Obama. Sweet dreams are made of these like the Rigness aim to please. Love like cast iron skillet cooking cream corn and crock pots full of black eyed peas. Love like old school holding hands, long walks, long talks, and kissing that understands. Love like black power and planting seeds that grow and bloom. Love like me and you building beyond this world's doom. Taste and see. Come with me into a higher altitude of a loftier attitude. Our love is gratitude, the glory of appreciation, an accent to the excitement of existence, and the joy of the Lord that is my strength. That's a couple from there. And, next book. Called Into the Ether Blue. That's more or less like my thoughts catching up to today. Today's time being the early 2000s, early 2020s. And this part is basically describing my life at different age periods. From a perspective of what I was going through at that time. And the metaphor, the it, was reference to anything that was out of the normal state of mind and thought that brings peace. So I used the it as a metaphor. I think I got that from I forgot the name of it. There's a book. It was a movie that Oprah was in. Mrs. Who, Mrs. What, Mrs. Which, you know, A Wrinkle in Time, I think that was the name of it. That's where I got it. That reference from. That was that influence. And that was where I got that reference as a metaphor as the it, because I thought that was a beautiful way to express anything that was out of balance instead of giving it a particular name. You know, it's just the it, like this thing can do all kind of stuff, both good and bad, you know. And then to understand my relationship with her, you know, Butter Soul Fly, two pieces, collection of pieces that we did together called Love and Other Poems. basically talking about different aspects of our relationship. So only a couple of people have this, you know. So it's a gem. One of the other ones I did was one with commissioned artwork that I had done by Jason Reeves. Can't see it in this picture because it's a dark resolution, but it's the Dreamwalker, and this is called The Path Towards Ascended Being, and this is a book of thoughts that I put together as far as bettering yourself, from references that I knew of and whatnot, how, like a recovery book, you know, whether you recover from drugs or psychological problems or PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Put that out there. I gave these to a brother, told him to put them out there and use it for charity raising, you know, sell them to raise money for charity. Did another one. Called Adaba, and this is one version of it, but I have a different version in PDF form. This is all the images that I took of people, I borrowed from people, people took of me, or I photoshopped, you know. Artwork kind of thing. poetry community, I don't really know how they think about me. I just, all I know is, nobody ever really calls me except for a few people. Nobody really ever did except for a few faithful friends, and I call them that because they've been that for me. I don't want to mention names per se because somebody will think, oh, you didn't say me, or you didn't say me. I mean, those of you who are my friends, you know who you were. You don't have to prove that to nobody. That's between us. And don't let nobody tear that apart, whether I'm here or gone. You know what I was about. My man Dez, hey man, I tried, man. I apologize. It just wasn't working out as far as me trying to do the stuff that I wanted to do out of the compassion in my heart. I just kept getting blocked, from helping your peoples out. And I think it was more or less hateration than it was, on their part than it was on my part to help out your people. And now that you needed me, you was looking out for me. But I was trying to make a connection across the board, because I believe in United Streets. I wasn't in the streets and I wasn't trying to get out there. And I think you understood that, but you knew that I admired a lot of the code that was established for certain things that maybe some of other people may not understood what it was and just wrote it off as, oh, they just this or they just that. And I didn't believe in that. I believe it had a principle and a purpose. Not that I'm a judge of what somebody else got to do according to their code or whatever, or trying to set up boundaries. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just me getting an understanding of different things. And sometimes I think when you in the light and you understand both the light and the dark, people don't want you to have that. They want you to be one or the other. They don't want you to be a master. Because if you're a master, you break free from the chains. And I was trying to liberate the minds of the people. So not so much as that they would do anything evil or wicked, but that they would have a balance so they know if somebody coming at them trying to destroy their world, they'll be able to defend themselves. Because I believe everybody has a world for themselves and a universe for themselves. There's so much, sit here and listen to this music. I know I made it. It's so soothing, It's one blessing I'm grateful for, the talent that I was given to make this music. Some people may not understand it, they may not like it. It did something for me. Hopefully, it could do something for somebody else. I think the next album I was going to come out with, if I don't do it before this is out or before I'm gone, Celestial Healing and Geriatric Delinquency. I was apprehensive about putting Geriatric Delinquency out. I probably won't. Somebody had to do that after I'm gone because I was real personal with that, but it was where I was, But dealing with Admiral Delungus, Prime Mementi. But I don't know. So many things going on, and 1,000 seconds, 1,000 minutes, 1,000 days, 1,000 years, or trillions of years left. You know, I don't know. All I know is I'm a child of the Most High, frequency of the Most High, and they will never die. Will always be present in some form.
Thank you.
have to say, I've been in some really good relationships with ladies, and honestly, I can't say that I've actually been in anyone that was bad. I mean, I'm not mentioning any names because you all dear to my heart, and I'm not gonna put you on blast like that. I've only had one that was challenging, but I won't say it was bad because it had a lot of good points. You know who you are. There was some that was distant, but we still remained cool, you know. That was what that was, you know. A lot of sisters from other misters. A lot of lovers from other brothers. But it was always respect, where respect was due. There was misunderstandings, but you know how we do what we do. You know, a lot of inspiration and ones I use as my muse. So that was what that was all about. And just know, for everybody, I loved you, and I love you still. My family, everybody, you know, even though we may falling out or whatever, I still love you and I respect you for the divinity of your being, and I'll always cherish that throughout the realms. Give yourself a shave. Take off your war paint. See your blemishes and attractive attributes. If it's something you can live with, be grateful. If not, still be grateful. But pool the resources necessary to make the changes you want. If you have to get upset or angry, be constructive with it and not destructive. Build on the foundation that if you are still breathing, you can live on to fight for balance, fight for happiness. Some of us may be in a state of perpetual cognitive dissonance or psychic vertigo, but we can't lose focus to the hocus pocus. If you think nobody cares, nobody loves you, at least care for and love yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have family, you have yourself. Every day is a struggle for everyone, especially veterans, because we have fought and warred for or against causes we may or may not have agreed with, but we followed orders. We got the job done. We accomplished our mission. And even if we didn't, the Creator has given us respite to bring our universe into balance. We have the resources at our disposal to get the help we need to make it through. Part of these resources is each of our individual understandings of what it means to be a veteran, and both the triumph and the tragedy of that. The other part is the professional teams we have available to try and help us cope based off of the training and dealing with our problem. It doesn't necessarily mean they'll always have a solution for our problems, but they can offer treatment and counseling to steer us back on course towards the straits of our ego and or emotional trauma that we may have endured to get to the other side of this ocean of opportunity to be healthy and live a happy life coping with our illness in a way that builds our character no matter how broken we are or have become. It behooves us to be patient, however, because although it only took us an average 9 months to be born, it may take lifetimes for us to completely understand why we're here and what our total mission is. And although we may have maps and grid coordinates of where the confirmed positive is of our problems, we still may need to have a painting to illuminate our target goals to achieve peace, harmony, or at the very least, acquire the tools necessary to set up camp, weather the storm, until help arrives with the coping skills we need to survive and live to die another day. From my point of view, there are many different paths, many different schools, with many different rules. Everybody's educated, not too many fools, just hot summers, winters cool. If we all build with love, we've got plenty of tools to build a house, build a city, build a planet, golden, blues, many new truths. Spice just right with new attitudes. I want you in this world, together, me and you, girl. never got to touch, if I never got to feel, how would I ever know? How would I ever understand that her love is real? If I never got to kiss, if I never got to lick, if I never got to flick, how else would I have known the joy of this bliss? I recognized her by the flies. Yeah, she the shit. The beats bumping, and we were both into me, you, the music, were quite intimate. Me being earthbound, I knew you was heaven sent. When I'm with you, it's random, abstract, compassionate, time, irrelevant. Every time I hear a sad love song, I remember how bad I hate sad love songs, because either you were singing them to me or I was singing them to you. You know how we do. Conversations we've had just now coming through on the radio, ascended visions and new old school. I've been misled a few times, but I ain't never been no fool. It's not hard for me to love you. It's just so hard for me to choose, cause I'll never stop loving you. I love and know you're every woman, and baby, I'll never ever leave you. Hearing love songs I like, I'm up all night, like this morning's breakfast, peaches and cream. I didn't have no nightmares, only lucid dreams. We don't never fight, but the neighbors swear they heard screams, fulfilled your fantasies. And you love me like mangoes, blueberries, strawberries. Africa is my art. America is my song. Cherokee is my heritage. Blackfoot is my home. This is the honor for my ancestors, that my days will be long. For they know the struggle in our destiny, so they help us to carry on.
Time is irrelevant. There's only the compassion of the random abstract.
The balance of ego is the inertia of time. Mindfulness is the awareness of zero as the fulcrum of infinity. In the beginning, there was the beat, then the meters and the measures, the bass and the treasure, the lift of the verbal gifts, the ciphers and the mind trips, the vibe scenes and the script flips, when one keep focused on things above. For even though we know in part, only God is love.
I'm not an alpha male. I reside in the theta state. No need for declarations or acclamations to be determined great. I'm a boss by the thoughts of my God. Dominance is not my job, even though I'm on top. Intelligence, science, laws, and mathematics. Beard, crop. Meditation is my concentration. Mindfulness is my key. Intuition, spirituality, love, affirmations, manifestations is the essence of my being.